Hi, so I've tried recording this video several times and for some reason it just will not convert to MP4, so I'm going to try it again on my laptop this time. So I had chose mental and emotional health and I just titled my lesson plan Exploring Positive Stress Management Strategies. So I did choose to go with a third grade standard, and those are understanding positive stress management strategies, explain how self-control is a valuable tool in solving health risk, and classifying stress as preventable or manageable. I think it's important that students learn about stress and stressors and self-control because it will teach them how to be mindful of their own feelings during difficult situations. I also believe that these standards will allow students to be active participants in managing their own health. It'll also enhance their emotional intelligence by helping them manage their emotions, coping with stress. It'll foster empathy and self-awareness for themselves. And it also teaches them how exercise benefits them and how getting the proper amount of sleep and eating well and, just doing all those things will contribute to a healthy lifestyle, which leads them to make more informed decisions about their life and their well-being. Stress is a normal thing. It's something that all of us go through at some point in our lives. And it's something that our students will encounter. And it'll cause them to feel stressed or overwhelmed or panicked. And sometimes those feelings can build into something that turns into anger or makes them not want to socialize with anyone. So it's important that they learn these skills and they learn these strategies so that they're able to manage those things within their life and cope with, sudden changes or a loss. I think students misbehave sometimes when their emotions are all over the place because they don't know how to navigate their emotions and they simply just act on them instead of wanting to figure out why they are feeling the way that they are feeling. And stress doesn't just impact their school life. It doesn't just impact their academics. It impacts how they socialize with others. It'll make them self-isolate. I know from experience. It'll have you withdraw into yourself, and that's why I think it's very important that learning how to cope with stress and identifying the triggers that may cause the stress will teach them how to deal with their emotions and work through it. Yeah. So the resources that I used within my lesson, of course, I used a PowerPoint, and that was mainly to make it accessible to my English language learners, but it also gave them visual representations of the things that I was talking about or that the lesson talks about, such as the breathing exercises or meditating or running. Having those things on a PowerPoint or on pictures posted around the room, it'll give them a better visual representation. I also incorporated YouTube videos within the lesson because I think sometimes when you're just talking, it tends to go up through one ear and out the other. So I feel like using those YouTube videos will give them a different perspective. But it also teaches them that information is everywhere, and so they'll learn to, whenever they have questions or whenever they want to learn about something, that they can go on YouTube and they can look up a video and it can explain it to them in a fun and engaging way. So that was the whole point of using the YouTube videos and the PowerPoint and supplementing those things together. I also used or incorporated games, educational games such as Blickit or Kahoot, and then I had the students within the lesson create digital posters using Canva, Google Slides, or PictoArt, and a lot of that was just like the outcome was just that they are engaged in their learning and that they're learning how to navigate the web and they're learning how to look for information and they're learning how to insert pictures or use those online applications. So I specifically chose as the diverse learner English language learners. They typically have a noticeable language barrier, and sometimes that makes things difficult within the classroom for them. And so incorporating those videos and those in the PowerPoint just gives them a visual representation, and therefore they have access to everything that all of the other students have access to as well. Also with technology and also with YouTube, you can put the video with captions, Spanish captions, or you can find videos in Spanish, and so it just makes it possible for them to get engaged with the lesson as well. Also, all of the other online things that I had the students do within the lesson will teach these students how to use these online applications, and it'll help them develop digital literacy and technical skills. They'll gain proficiency on how to use these different technology. They'll learn how to navigate the web, operate these software applications. It'll also help them learn how to adapt to different digital platforms, and it just helps them get more comfortable with using word processor or the different presentation tools, or just looking things up on the internet as well. So also putting them in groups and having them create the digital posters gives them a chance to collaborate and communicate with their peers, but it also helps them to develop their language skills. So yeah. I think as a result of this project, I have learned a ton of things, not only about mental and emotional health, but about how to create a lesson and how to create activities to supplement those lessons to engage the students. I never approach a project or an activity without doing research on my own. And so it was very insightful in that way. I've also learned how important it is for educators to learn about stress and stressors and strategies to prevent or manage the stress that we may encounter, not only for ourselves, but for those students. Because they do have big emotions, and most of the time they're not taught how to handle those emotions, and sometimes it just causes them to act in ways that I know that they're most likely not proud of. I also realized that integrating technology into a lesson plan is not as easy as I may have thought it would be. I am constantly in front of my laptop. I'm constantly on my phone. I'm constantly learning new things. And so I just figured that'll be easy to just throw it into a lesson. I was wrong. Integrating technology is so much more complex than just choosing a video and adding it into the lesson. You have to know where to place the video, so things doesn't seem crowded or just thrown together. So that is definitely one of the biggest things that I have learned. And I feel like this will impact my teacher portfolio, because I will be able to not only look back on this lesson, but other lessons that I've done and take from it and learn from it, learn through the process. The only way to get better is if you continue to practice it. So this was very good practice. And I feel like this will impact my effectiveness as a teacher, because it'll help me understand how to better use the unpacking standards to build a lesson plan that teaches the relevant information stated in the standards, and to also create activities or tests that are relevant and that are reliable. Yes. Also, it'll help me develop necessary skills to translate the standards, and I think I've already said that. Yeah, it'll also help me make sure that I'm meeting all of my students' needs with the differentiation part. That's typically one of the things that I struggle with, is differentiation. So with this lesson, I kind of had to push myself to make sure that I wasn't overusing the same differentiation strategies. So, yeah. And, it's just going to make me, this lesson in itself will make me be more mindful of how students express their emotions and how important it is that they learn about stress. Thank you.